You know, when you're at a stadium that's full of 40,000 people or 80,000 people, you know, the energy is incredibly intense, and you can feel it. It's palpable. And sport is like a giant Greek tragedy or a giant soap opera. You know, we use sport, for example, as a proxy to kind of live out dramas that we don't necessarily have in our daily lives. So that's automatically like, you know, super cultural. It's deeply aesthetic. So at this point, the aim of my research is to essentially try and find a way to quantify the influence of the crowd on player performance, and at the same time create something that's aesthetically rich, immersive, and compelling.
There's some similarities between what Baden does and what we do. We bring together different data sets and do statistical analyses to contextualise one factor to another. But that's pretty black and white, you know, and it doesn't give you the grey, the sense of the grey or the richness that can occur. And now, we know theoretically at least there's a big involvement from the crowd to the players, but we can't statistically show that in our data. And what Baden can do is visualise that.
So once I got the data, well, the focus was really figuring out what I was going to do with it. The data is essentially 44 giant spreadsheets, hundreds of thousands of rows full of numbers. So it was a little bit daunting thinking about how to use the data in a way that spoke to the core focus of the research.
Initially, I wasn't hoping to discover anything specifically. It was more about looking at a problem from another way. And I was totally naive to the involvement of art with the sciences, and I'm really glad that we got into this, because I'm now starting to look at solving the problems from a different perspective. We've been hard-driven, objective, sort of data-driven solutions, and now from the work that we're starting to see, the way Baden goes about putting his work together has really given me a different perspective of solving or looking at our problems.
The two kinds of data I was working with, how they relate to each other was one of the key kind of problems I had to overcome. The link was essentially creating depth using a z-axis in the data. For this particular project, the outcome was necessary to be able to inform the kind of work that was made, but also to fully resolve it and to fully realize it. The fact that the sculptures behind me and the other main work in the show have a really organic, fleshy feel to them is not a surprise, because it's really fleshy data in a sense. The data is from bodies, it's from voices, so it's the data that's already there. I'm just kind of like revealing a form that's hidden within it. It was something that was quite unexpected.